Hello. Okay, so live from Venice Beach, California. Here we are. Let's do our 360. 360. Here we have the Pacific Ocean, Santa Monica Mountains, the endless stream of humanity, the corporate shark road. Oh, what's this? This sounds like feedback. Feedback.
Hello.
Okay, so is that what I sound like? Live from Venice Beach, California. Here we are. Let's do our 360. 1, 2. 360. Well, at least I know it's working. Okay. Chill. One more thing. Little cool. All right. I didn't finish our 360, as I recall. So back to the. There we go. It's really nice and warm today. Not a lot of wind. Boy, I like that. That's a good shot. Taking another look at that ocean, because you can't have too much ocean. Nope. 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 Okay. So, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really liking the later start time. The light's a little kinder on us. I don't know if you can see that. That's a. Let's start with this. Okay. So for those of you that were watching yesterday, this was the final painting. Okay. And I don't know what I should say about it, other than about 4 hours after I painted it, I started to realize, you know, one of the things that's been on my mind recently is I've been studying out-of-body experiences, the science behind out-of-body experiences and astral projection and whatnot. And it occurred to me in that study, a major focus is on the differences between density and lucidity. Obviously, lucidity or consciousness is the ultimate goal. And the thing that can prevent one from experiencing lucidity, consciousness, especially in going out of the body, is density. You know, and if you read my Facebook thing, you'll realize what, you know, I've said this a few times as I discovered it. Is that, you know, density is, you know, fear, doubt, anger, confusion, all that kind of stuff. So over the weekend, I started to become conscious of the things that I was, you know, moment by moment, as things unfold, I would start to feel, I'd like, oh, this is density. This is what density is. You know, things that I just, for all my life, I've been taking for granted, right? And obviously the goal is to relinquish density. So yesterday I started to paint this, you know, I painted the background and everything, and then this heart with the door started, and then the heart around it, and then, you know, I really didn't know what I was doing at the time, and more often than not, when I have no idea what it is that I'm doing, it's like I'm the paintbrush. You know, it's the paintbrush to know what the painter's doing, and you know, and I felt very queasy by the time that, you know, the computer ran out of juice. By the way, we have 75%, so that should give us at least 45 minutes to an hour, barring the unforeseen. And so, but when we went off air yesterday, I really felt queasy about the piece. I was like, oh, that piece, I don't know where I was going with it, you know, whatever. You know, I didn't know what to think, but I almost didn't even, after I posted it, I didn't even want to look to see if anybody responded to it or anything. And so, but finally, about, like I said, 4 hours later, I did. And when I looked at the painting, it was obvious that it was about this issue of relinquishing density and what we're capable of when we do. And this is kind of like a snapshot of the moment when one relinquishes density. And one of the things the only thing that I knew was, as that heart, as I was painting it, got bigger and bigger, it started to look like angel wings. So anyway, that's that. And another thing I feel like I should say, I've painted about, let's get a better background than that for this conversation. That's not good. Yeah. So, ooh, nice sky. I like the sky. Sky's working. Okay. So I've painted about over 2,000 canvases, and I have like 99% of them. And for years, I really tried to sell them and all that kind of stuff. And then I realized that they were actually, I was really lucky that nobody bought them. A handful of people bought over the years. And because now I have them all. And I began to see that they were, I should say, about 1,000 canvases ago. I started to realize that that they were a whole body of work, and it'd be really amazing to show them all in one place. Because back in well before I started painting, I think it was like 1980, either 1980 in 1981. You can check the archives. There was a Picasso exhibit in New York. That it was 5 floors of, I think it was either the Museum of Modern Art or I can't remember which museum it was, but 5 floors of Picasso. And what was cool about it is it was all in chronological order. And like I said, this was easily, I was like 22, I think 22 or 23. So it was easily 7 or 8 years before I actually picked up a brush and started to paint. And at that time, I had no desire to paint. I had no desire to be a painter. In fact, I was one of those people that, at that point, I think I don't even know that I was drawing. I was like most people. I said I couldn't draw a stick figure, and then I ultimately ended up, drawing a stick figure cartoon. It was the first thing. That's basically how I taught myself how to draw. But like I said, it took me 7 years after starting to teach myself how to draw, out of sheer frustration of trying to get other people to collaborate with me from the images that would come to me through my writing. Because I started writing. It's right out of college. I started hitchhiking around the country and started writing stuff down. And after about 2 years of that, or I should say, in the process of those first 2 years, I started seeing all these images whenever I would go to write something, and I got really frustrated trying to get somebody else to draw for me, like my brother. He was an incredible. He's one of those people that just him putting a stroke on a piece of paper is beautiful. It's like, wow, you could just look at his look at that one line. That's enough. That's good. Just look at that one line, and it was just beautiful. But I just got frustrated. I got frustrated with trying to work with somebody else, especially my brother, and the fact I couldn't have him with me 24 hours a day. So because the inspiration doesn't work on the clock. So I would even get to the point where I'd be writing in my sleep and seeing images in my sleep that I want to record. And so finally I just said, the heck with it, I'm going to draw. I'm going to try to do this myself, And ultimately, it's called Blue Muse that I published for like a year and a half in the old Woods Hole Weekly, this weekly periodical that started in in Woods Hole, Massachusetts. So anyway, it was still 7 or 8 years after that that I started to paint. So back to the Picasso exhibit. I never, to this day, I really don't like. I don't like Picasso. I don't like his politics as a person. He was, not exactly, somebody that I would ever want to emulate. That said, however, I have the utmost respect both for him as an artist, as a creator, and certainly as somebody who, he was also blessed with the ability to sell his work, which is like most artists can't sell their work, they go hungry, but the brother knew how to sell, I mean, if Van Gogh had Picasso's ability to sell, I don't think he ever would have cut off his ear because he would have been sitting as fat as Picasso was. But anyway, so going through this exhibit, with all his paintings and drawings and everything, I have no idea how many, easily a couple of thousand works, but all in chronological order. You could see roughly his artistic development. And I walked through we were in there probably 5 or 6 hours. I walked through and looked at every piece in order, and it had a really profound effect on me because one of the things that he did, what most people, he's credited with inventing Cubism. He would take an idea, like say he would paint a painting that looks, photorealistic, just like me, right? Just like this headshot you're looking at, okay? And then he would, as he developed the idea of Cubism, I mean, remember, he existed in a world where Cubism didn't even exist, okay? So he starts painting, and he just starts deconstructing that image of, that headshot, or a guitar, right? A still life with a guitar. He sets up a still life like a lot of artists do. They paint still life. He'll do the still life with a guitar, and then he'll do it again and again and again and again and again and again until, in each time, it's like, he's basically giving himself permission to explore his inspiration. Well, what if I turned it 90 degrees? What if I, set it on its head? What's it going to look like from the bottom? What's it going to look like if it's in blue? What's it going to look like if I, turn it inside out? And this is before like CAD cams and all that kind of stuff, And that, just after going through all that, I mean, it was friggin' overwhelming, to tell you the truth, and grueling to go through, 7 hours, 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7 hours of this. But it was obviously it had a profound effect on me. And later on, when I started painting, one of the things that I've learned about it is that it's all about creativity in general. It's all about giving yourself permission, and giving yourself permission to try, giving yourself permission to fail, giving yourself permission to succeed. Giving yourself permission to not know what the heck it is that you're doing. And to trust yourself, to see, and trust the universe, because after, and this is one of the things that I think that he had was, "1987 was when I started, and whatever so it's like, I don't know, it's a long time. I've been painting a while, and so after a while of going through this process of creating, and giving yourself permission to screw up, you realize that there's a process of, there's going to be a point where you don't like what you're doing. Okay. So what have you done in the past where you push through that? Okay. And when you do that over and over and over again, you don't get scared when you don't like what you're doing. You know that that's a point in the process, right? Because so now I've learned that if there's a painting that I'm working on, and I really, really, really don't like it. You know, and let's say I had to, you know, I lost the light and I had to leave and I had to sleep on it. You know, so the next day I start that painting again, start looking at that painting. If I really don't like it, I know that is, I'm working on a piece that I am going to end up loving. You know, because I'm going to continue the process until it's, you know, until it shows me what it, you know, what it's designed to do. You know, oh, look at that seagull up there. I love seagulls. Okay, so blah 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 blah. What I want to do, a couple things. There's a piece that I started yesterday, and it got a little too complex for the amount of time that we had. And and I figured I'd make it a little bigger, and I started that already. But I want to paint this painting real quick to illustrate something. Okay, there we go. So this has already been started. It's 20 by 24. It's got fluorescent yellow paint on it, and I'm just going to do a quick execution. Another reason why I like it right here. Okay, it's going to blink. Don't worry about it. I mean, you know, if you can worry if you want to, but it's the computer camera is trying to decide what color. It's getting too much light. It wants to decide what color to use to settle on, and it can't. So until I get something darker in there, it's going to blink. Okay. So if you've been paying any kind of attention the past couple of days, you notice that past couple of paintings have all kind of started like this. With a yellow background, and then coming up with some red on top of that. We're at 59%. Okay. I wanna. Let me just drop this baby in there. Oh, I love that. That's freaking beautiful. Can you see that? Cool. Man, this weather is perfect today. It's like July. Man, that's freaking beautiful. Car. I know you can't see it as well as I can see it, but it's really beautiful. You're just going to have to trust me on this one. Boom. Let's do that. Cool. You may start to recognize this image. Hey, brother, how you doing? Doing my podcast. It's already started on me. It's great. Okay. So this is familiar ground. You've seen me do this a couple days in a row. So, like I was saying about Picasso, he gave himself permission to experiment. He gave himself permission to repeat himself over and over again until he completely, fully learned everything that he could possibly, squeeze the lemons until all the juice was out of it, of an idea. And so when I started painting, I'd learned that from drawing. You have to do that with drawing as well. It applies to creativity in general, So often people, somewhere between drawing with crayons in kindergarten and high school, they lost the wonder of, we lose the wonder of just being able to explore and bust out go in any direction we want because we can't. And as an artist, you can't afford to not do that. How are we doing?
I like the house. Actually, I love the house down here.
See that blinking has stopped. So, quick story. Back in probably like 2002, 2003, I was out here on the boardwalk painting on Christmas Day, and thought I'd try to make a little extra money. But at least, I got to spend my day painting, so it was cool. But I didn't make any money that day. But the painting that I painted, it was just about like that, about like that big. It was just it was a piece of raw canvas, and it was this image. And that painting, for some reason, that image, it ended up becoming the most popular image I had for several years after that. I mean, I made a print of it, and I ended up selling gazillion of them. It's like I couldn't keep enough of those for years. And then within a couple of months, it was obvious that it was a good idea. And so I called it my Christmas tree because I painted it on Christmas. And that, because I called it Christmas tree, I felt like, well, why don't I do one for the next holiday? So the next holiday was Groundhog's Day. So I painted one of a tree, same composition, different time of year, for, that, for Groundhog's Day. And then the spring equinox happened, and I was traveling back east. I was up on the Blue Ridge Parkway on the spring equinox, so I painted one on the Blue Ridge Parkway called the spring equinox tree. And then I was back here later that summer, and I painted one called the summer tree. It had all the leaves and everything. And then, I make a long story short, I ended up painting, I think, 8 different versions of that tree. And the latest one that's I have in the, that I sell on the boardwalk, the latest print version, the most popular one is one I call the Lucky Tree, because it's been very, very lucky for me, But it's it's basically the same thing. I actually painted that for an exhibition. I needed, I had a friend that worked at well, she didn't work there. She got to be she was the assistant art director for the Agape Spiritual Center, with Reverend Michael Beckwith. And for years she'd been like, oh, you should have your stuff you should show your stuff at Agape here in LA. And I was like, yeah. But usually I'd never been able to make it over there because, on Sundays I'm working out here, And so she eventually became the volunteer position, she became the assistant art director, and on her way home from the meeting where it was decided she was going to be the assistant art director, she called me up and she said, okay, we've got space for 40 canvases. I was like, cool. And she said, I'll be there on Friday. I was like, cool. So I went to the store and I bought 40 canvases like this, prepared canvases on stretchers and everything. And so in the next 5 days, I painted 40 canvases. And, all of my most popular images and everything like that. And then that Friday, she came and picked them up, and they were on exhibition there for like 2 years. And so I painted a version of this image, because the original was like this big, So I painted one on prepared canvas that was, big enough, was this big. And that piece became, when I made a print of it, it became the Lucky Tree. So anyway, saying all that to say, that looks close enough. Saying all that to say that, there have been people that have been asking me, these paintings. This is what I've started doing these streams about a week and a half ago, and I've only missed 1 day so far. And let's get it closer. All right, here we go. Oh, it's blinking. It's blinking. Didn't like that. The computer. So people have been asking, are they for sale? Are the images that you're painting there, are those paintings for sale? So here's the deal. I've gone way around the block on the whole selling of the work thing. I don't usually think about it much. For years I used to try. I was trying to. Sell my. For years, I was trying to sell my pieces, my paintings, and with not a whole lot of success. And then I made my piece with it that, they were meant to be, shown together. And so my goal has been to create a traveling exhibition and a permanent exhibition space for the work, especially given that, like I said, I painted about 2,000 canvases, and about 1,000 of those are sacred geometry paintings. And the sacred geometry paintings are definitely, they need to be shown together. And so we've developed with my partner in this artist group called Conscious Pilots, Ryan Mitchell, a couple years ago. I think it was 2009. We did a test run of what an exhibition like that would look like, and it was, we called it the experience. It was combining the original canvases and LED lights, programmable LED lights that run through 17 million colors in the time signature that is theta brainwave pattern. So seven times a minute, it would run through 17 million colors. And the goal was to create a passive environment that would have the potential of triggering a person into remembering what their specific what their specific reason for choosing people and remembering who they really are and where they really come from and all that kind of stuff. So we combine the programmable LED lights, the paintings. We would flood the space in the lights, and the lights having pulsing through 17 million colors and 7 times a minute. And because your breath rate regulates your brainwave pattern and vice versa, brainwave pattern regulates your breath rate. That was the premise, and then we combine that with crystal bowls and metal tubes, creating binaurals, and also combine that with scent, because scent triggers memory. So that was basically the experience, and some people are still talking about that going through, when they went through the experience. And so it was in a location that wasn't ours. We have a design that would be basically a pyramid inside of a dome, and suspended. The base of the pyramid would be like a story and a half above your head, and suspended from that, the base of the pyramid, and the peak of the pyramid would pop out through the roof of the dome, and the base of the pyramid, suspended from the base of the pyramid, would be this 7-course Cretan labyrinth, and suspended from that Cretan labyrinth at eye level would be the paintings. So a person could actually walk the labyrinth of paintings or walk between the paintings. And the space would be flooded with these programmable LED lights, all pulsing through 17 million colors 7 times a minute. And yeah, I can get into that down the road, but that's kind of where I'm going with the exhibition. So if you hear me talk about the exhibition, that's what I'm talking about. That's what our goal is. And there's other elements, like we're talking about creating somatic projections of the sound that's made by stimulating crystal bowls, and projecting that on the walls of the dome. Working with a partner of ours that does Ed Lance, that does dome projections and whatnot globally. Works, he's done like what do you call it, Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I realized a while back that this whole body of work needs to have a life of its own beyond me, and someday, if I, my goal is for people to be able to appreciate it when I'm gone. You know what I mean? And I'm only going to paint so many paintings in my lifetime. I realize that the ability to do this is like a really sacred thing. It's a sacred gift, and it's not something to be like. It's not something for hire. And I've done some commissions in the past, and I never really felt very good about doing commissions. I felt like I'm the brush for the universe, and it's not right for me to hand that brush to somebody else that wants, can you do that in blue? It's crazy. But anyway, I feel like I've done numerous experiments in trying to sell the originals. And a couple of years back, about 6 years ago, I actually painted 24 paintings, telling myself that they would not go for, I wouldn't even think about selling them for more than $1,000. And so I think I had those paintings. I showed them on the boardwalk for the better part of 2 years, and I sold 3. And but the good thing about that was I got to, go through the experience of talking to people, getting over the fact, because I had previously just said to people, I don't sell my originals, right? I realized that I paint for reproduction, and that I need to, I can make prints. I paint for reproduction and for exhibition, right? So saying all that, after all that being said, I'm doing another experiment here by obviously by doing this webcast and everything like that. It's another opportunity for where I'm at right now is when I paint a one of a kind image, like the some of the sacred geometry, especially the sacred geometry images. They, those would start at $20,000. The reason I say $20,000 is so that I wouldn't feel bad about parting with a piece, but I do feel bad about putting, putting all this sacred work into something and having it end up in somebody's bathroom. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can you erase that, please?
No, I didn't take it.
Thank you. Thank you. There's no photograph. Thank you very much. I appreciate, of course, yeah. I appreciate the fact that you like the work so much that you want to take it with you. That's why I've made prints. And I've already done the photography. So, yeah, and you're welcome to go through these. Yeah.
I like it.
Case in point. So. Okay, well, let's do that. Thank you. I was going for 6. I think.
Bye.
Take care. All right. So now that I've scared off my customers, interesting term, customers. What I was going to say is I'm running an experiment, and there are those that, for images that I can, paint a gazillion times over.
Baby, look at this. Come here right now. I like this shit. And not shit. You know what I mean? Oh my god, I'm scared. Oh my god. Baby, you know what I meant. Shit. Sorry. Look, babe. Look at the heart, babe. Look at this. This is sick as fuck. Look.
Okay.
That's you jumping off that cliff.
It's called learning to fly.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's day and night. These are dope as fuck.
Is my wallet in your purse?
No, it's in your. It's in that right there. Little bag right there.
What are you gonna say?
Okay. What are you?
So,
this is dope. The night and day.
Cool.
So that's. You did that?
I did. All of it.
I just got this for my roommate. Her name is Lucy. It's her birthday.
Yeah.
I know it's not your quality, but
It's cool.
can you appreciate it?
Good for you. Good for you. I love Lucy too.
Can you appreciate it?
Yes, I can appreciate it.
Okay,
You
good.
feel good? You feel good now? Is that working?
I do. I feel validated.
Alrighty then.
Thank
You feel validated?
Yeah.
I'll spend
I
money.
was
It is
before,
good
but
money.
now
I'll work hard for that
extra
money.
validated. I
Food.
talked this dude down too. Baby, are you just trying to get laid all night or what?
Of course.
Of course.
Standard operating procedure. So, I'm just talking to this doing this live stream right now.
Are you?
Yeah. So if you hear me talking and everything, okay, see, there you go. Cool. Hi, say hi to Mom. Say
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Son's doing a great job.
Yeah. Thank you.
This guy right here, he is the man. He's the next upbringing right here.
I am the man.
He
The
is
man.
The
You
man.
made this man.
Look at
Good
this
job.
clout.
Good job, Mom.
Look at this clout right here.
Oh my gosh,
That's
baby,
cool.
this is
That's good.
amazing.
Isn't it? Yeah, it is.
But these are the dopest.
So what I was going to say is, when I paint a painting that I can paint over and over and over again, like that, those are for sale, and I'll say, yeah, that one's for sale. The other ones,
These are dope, huh, baby? I like that.
I'll let you know. Those are not. I'll let you know which ones are
What's
not
your
for
name?
sale. David Alexander, English. All right, bless. So this one's for sale. Let the bidding commence. So and I'd appreciate it if you're seriously interested in any of my work, if you would just private message me instead of saying on the thing, "Is this for sale?" I mean, it's okay to say, ask, but why can't you just send a personal message? What's the big deal? So, anyway, that's what I wanted to say about that. Now let's move on to our. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to call me. Yes. How much time? What do we got? We got 22%. Boy, I sure seem to be talking a lot today. New moon in Gemini. New moon in Gemini. Yes, indeed. Okay. What do we got? So, once again, this looks familiar because I painted this. This was the painting that I painted a couple of days ago. That was the geometry in the image without all of this. And the painting I painted the next day was this, right? I mean, the sacred geometry in the painting was this, all right? Now, I realized something. Yesterday morning about this design, and I wanted to explore that. So I started doing that yesterday, and on a prepared canvas, and it proved a little problematic. But so I've done it again. Already got this far with it, and I wanted to see how far I can get with the idea that came to me. Okay, so this is the 12th harmonic. It's basically taking a circle, drawing a circle, and then every 30 degrees, put a dot, 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 right? And then making each one of those dots the center of the next circle, right? So this is, 12 circles around one, where the center of one is the edge of the next one, and they're 30 degrees apart, exactly. Okay? So, now, what I wanted to do, let's get a better, I want to see what this looks like when we, there we go. It's a good pen. And make each one of these the center of its own universe.
When I said, what do you think of that picture, like the beer mug?
Okay. I'll call you. I got your number. Okay. I'll be here.
Okay. So you see that? That is looks like mating. There's some mating going on there. Take a photograph. We currently can. Okay, what do we got? 13%. Okay. Oh man, it may have gotten separated for a second. Let me readjust. Cool. All right. The inspiration here is to see what this looks like when you do all of them like that. Let's do this one here. So once again, I'm probably going to not be able to finish this while we're screening, and if I finish it today, I'll post it. Well, whatever state it's in, I'll post a picture of it. And I'll post a picture of the other one, of the tree. So, and it'll say for sale. So what's interesting is that this image tells me where to put, without even measuring, it tells me where to put the next, because it's all 30 degrees, everything's 30 degrees apart. And I am liking that.
Marijuana!
Ah, shucks. Shucks and wazoo.
I walk by that window and say, you know, a blue paper on the road. That's not right.
Sir, 6%. Oh, I want to say one thing before we go about Maya Angelou just crossed over today, and you know, I basically grown up with her in the world, and she reminds me of my mother, who passed a couple of years ago, and another model of a strong African American woman, and who could always, you know, you always get the sense that she'd be the sort of person that could put you in your place if you needed it. So, and I love the title of her memoir. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. It's that just says it all right there. You don't even need to open the book, you know, but do. So anyway, just wanted to mention that before we go. We got 2%. Gonna get cut off in a second, and for some reason, when the computer dies, this thing keeps the recording will go on for another 5 minutes or so. I don't know what that's all about, and I haven't figured out how to edit that off. So anyway, we love you, and thank you for watching and putting the energy into it. Oh yeah, it's time to trim. New moon, time to trim. So when you see me next time, I will be minus some facial hair. Okay. Love you.